So the tank is being emptied today. Awesome. Yeah, nice and early, which means hopefully I can just run into London very quickly. That's the plan anyway. That is fantastically good news, because that's one more thing ticked off the list for today. Now I just have to get a serious shift on. The primary purpose of today's trip is kind of a proof of concept. Not just in terms of my skateboard, but also this backpack. Jasper's at preschool for a little bit longer today, which hopefully will give me the time to go into London, get some food, and then leave London. That's what I'm hoping. I know that doesn't sound like a massively huge itinerary for the day, but when you've got a small child, you've got to get back for. Today, we're going to be speaking about cities and the transport challenge that is getting around in them. Although technically I am in London now, I'm kind of on the outskirts sort of thing. I'm at Westfield, Stratford, in the east, and I'm going to take the tube into the centre, because if I tried to drive, I would spend the entire day sitting in traffic. I think I might need some better bearings for this thing. Much more comfortable to ride on a bumpy surface than that penny board ever was. Still need to find a comfortable carrying solution though. Probably shouldn't be using the big camera, but I am. This is a real juggle. Big camera, big board. I don't know what I was thinking, especially as there's far more foot traffic here than I thought there would be. And that's kind of the thing with cities, they're busy, very busy. Well, this one is anyway. Could do with a motor. Other than that, quite awesome. Yeah, when it comes to longboards, roads are a much better idea. Watch out for traffic. That's a solution to city traffic. My problem is I'm still not used to this board. Unfortunately, I want to go get some new bearings, and it's a ways this way. And the pavements are full of people. So far my navigation skills leave a lot to be desired. That's what I need. Awesome. Some nice bearings now, hopefully run a little bit smoother. The only slight problem is I'm in the middle of nowhere. Well, Soho, and I've not really got an awful lot of a clue how to get back to where I want to be in a reasonable length of time. It's not the weight that makes this a pain to carry, it's the length. So I constantly have my arm bent. Getting around in London takes ages. With all the people. Of course there are times when it's all a little easier. Oh yeah, see now we're cooking with gas. It's difficult to remember that I should probably still obey the rules of the road. By the way, I highly recommend wearing a helmet and not riding in traffic. Yeah, those two. And swap to pedestrian time. That swapping from vehicle to pedestrian thing is great fun. I'm completely lost, but I found a sidewalk that's smooth and empty. Definitely longboard. Much more usable than a penny board. It's just a question of, what's it a question of? Folding. Let's just follow these guys. Maybe they know where they're going. Now there's a reason I've come here, and principally it's because I'm lost. Actually, that's not true. See, right here, what you have is basically a nexus of all the different transport systems that you get in most, but not all, major cities. You got boats. You've got cars. There's a tube train somewhere up there. You've got a cycle path just there. You've got a folding longboard right here. Am I forgetting anything? You've got those cycles that you hire. Saw one of those go by a second ago. And of course you've got lots of pedestrians. And that's the thing, cities tend to be a sort of mix of these things. But one thing I have noticed, there seems to be a trend away from the noisy, polluting vehicles towards, well, people are walking basically because there's not enough room to do anything else. I drove a van in a while ago. I was giving it a bit of a test. It was an EV, of course. It took me about 3.5 hours to get into the centre of London and back out. And it's a total distance of about 30 miles. Not really a very good use of time. In fact, I could certainly have cycled it quicker. Now obviously some people need vans because, you know, I couldn't cycle with a mattress on my back or something, could I? Although people do try. I do love these cycle highways though. They were a great idea. And more cities are getting them now as well. This bit's downhill. Oh yeah. I've always liked downhill. Reminds me of my electric skateboard. I also better be heading back now, I think, because I don't want to be late for Jazzy. And this was kind of supposed to be a bit of a proof of concept, you know, can I actually make it into the centre of London and do any meaningful filming? Or is the transport network just too? Well no, it turns out the transport network is pretty damn good. When you're on the cycle highway, must have covered a good few miles now on this board, and so far it's still in one piece. Yeah, I think this is my turning. Only slight annoyance. It's all uphill from here. Don't feel like I need to go for a run later today. And I just remembered I haven't had lunch. There you go. That wasn't quite the lunch I had in mind, but it did the job. So it better be the right way. There is an EV park there. I'll tell you one thing I've learned from today. London plus longboards equals use the roads, because they're just too big to be on the pavement with a bunch of people. As is this camera. And they're also too heavy to carry, because you can't sort of hold it with a straight arm because it's too long. I've always felt it was a bit ironic the way something like 80% of the population lives in cities, and that's also where about 80% of the pollution is. This has been good fun, but I'm now out of time.
And all London Underground lines.
So what have we learnt today? Well, loads of things actually. I mean, this has been a bit of a proof of concept trip for me, because I don't think I've ever actually used my big DSLR in the centre of London before, and I've certainly never ridden through the centre on a longboard. Second thing we've learned, which I think is probably the most important, which is that this hinge in the middle of my longboard works very well. I've been over all manner of bumps. I have also got one small problem. I need to get some much more durable foam. And the other thing is I need new bearings, because one of those bearings is totally knackered. Oh, you wouldn't believe it. Straight over some dog muck. Tell you something else. Those stairs are good exercise. And also, there are far too many cars in London. I've come to the opinion that they should ban all cars that aren't taxis, buses, public transport, that sort of thing is fine. Everything else should be people on their legs or on their own sort of small set of wheels, like, you know, longboards or bicycles, something like that. Fantastic. There's actually more space on the roads, I think, often than there is on the pavements. Something else that I did notice in London, the vast majority of vehicles seemed to be taxis and buses, both of which are diesel. And they're not just diesel, they're like super extra polluting diesel. That is definitely something that needs sorting out. There are now some electric buses on certain routes. There are quite a few more hybrid buses, so it's improving things. There's an electric taxi that is coming, but not yet, I don't think, actually on the roads in service. The pollution in London is a bit of an issue. I did notice on the tube, in the way in, my eyes and throat started tingling. See that bloodshot eye? That is a few hours in the centre of London. That's really shocking. I mean, you shouldn't have that just from going into a city for a few hours. Anyway, I think that's my pollution quotient for the week dealt with. Really pleased I went in. It was really good fun. The car said it was 23 degrees. So this is like a summer's day for around here, and it's March. Use it while it's here, because June might not be so good. Okay, I've got to do a bunch of editing now, and then I'm gonna go pick up Jasper. It's just, you know, back to the normal daily grind. So I hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have, remember to like it and share it and subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram if you don't already. And I'll see you tomorrow for the next installment of my daily vlog. Bye. You would not believe how long I had to wait for boats to go by. Like, and just before I came up here I saw like 5. Anyway, pretty sure I'm not going to have that trouble with traffic.